Oh yeah, look at the clock. 5-minute countdown going on. It's Sunday, getting ready to go live with ShopTalk, your favorite motorcycle entertainment and information show, coming to you through the courtesy of the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. We're getting ready to go live with this one. Make sure you hit the like and share button. Let your friends and neighbors know we're getting ready to go live with 90 to 120 minutes of all the two-wheeled motorcycle bullshit we can squeeze into this program every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. ShopTalk, getting ready to go live. Hey, for any of you that are tuning in for the first time and wondering what is this ShopTalk shit all about, here's the deal. 90 to 120 minutes of everything motorcycle we can cram into a program. It all centers around a national motorcycle magazine available everywhere you buy fine magazines. And we even have a podcast, a bunch of social media stuff. We're just like motorcycle all the time here at ShopTalk /CycleSource/Grease and Gears TV. We love this motorcycle business. And we want you to check it out too. So don't go anywhere for the next 3.5 minutes. And we're going to give you a full dose of Sunday ShopTalk. Getting ready to go live here in the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. You know, while we're watching this countdown roll off, we're probably somewhere right now enjoying the beautiful scenery at the Loretta Lynn's Ranch as TMMR is just coming to a close. That's right, this is a pre-recorded show, nonetheless an amazing show. We got a great show packed into this for you. We actually get to announce all of the Hall of Fame inductees for 2022. That ceremony is coming up at Sturgis this year for the Black Hills Rally. And for the first time, we get to pull off one of these shows where one at a time we're going through all of the inductees and talking about their stories and how they found their way into the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame. You don't want to miss that. We got a great feature bike with Tyler Foster from SikPipes. We're going to be back in the Grease and Gears garage putting together the T-Dragger. Only a month away now. A month away from when they're pulling the winner on the T-Dragger. So if you got a chance to get over to Twisted T and get signed up for that one, that is a bitchin' motorcycle that Heather would love nothing more than for us to keep it. And confidentially, we don't have room for that shit, so go sign up to win this motorcycle. It's absolutely free. Did I mention that? Minute 37, and we're going live with this one. Kick back, relax, get comfortable. 90 to 120 minutes on this round of ShopTalk. 1 minute. You know, and I just do want to remind you, just because the show is pre-recorded, we are at the console fielding your questions, comments, and concerns. So launch away wherever you're watching this from. Any of the Facebook channels out there, any of the YouTube, we're 15, 16 different channels to all of our partners. Put your questions up. We'll get to them throughout the show. Heather is madly typing away at the keyboard as I'm doing this introduction. She's answering questions. She's amazing. Look at her go, the incredible question answer girl. All right, and with that, we're crossing the 30-second mark. It's time to get this one out of the station and up onto the tracks. Let's go live with this week's installment of ShopTalk. Here we go. Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. It is just after 9 p.m. on the East Coast. That means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk. I'm your host, Chris Cowan with Cycle Source Magazine, coming to you live 50 floors below street level from the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio, joined tonight by my lovely co-host, Miss Heather Callan.
Hey. Oh. It's been a while.
You hit me with the hay.
I did.
So
I did it.
We're actually right now enjoying the sunset at TMMR.
I know, what a great weekend.
You can't do that.
I'm predicting.
You can't predict.
It's TMMR.
How bad
I'm
could it be?
predicting it's going to be an outstanding weekend.
It is. It is. Lots of great stuff to talk about tonight. We got everything I said, all the Hall of Fame inductees, the feature bike, the tech that we're back in the garage for. And at the end of the show, we're actually going to get to some events because, you know, even though we're doing this.
He keeps cutting me short.
Pre-recorded
thing. Can you
thing.
tell he's my husband? He just cuts me short.
Short stopped. Short stopped. That's my move.
Oh, gosh.
All right. Hey, big shout out to all our peeps over at Paul Yaffe's Bagger Nation. Good supporter of the show.
Did you clean the garage today?
I did, and I found that sticker. That's great. It's on my console. So, lots of stuff to get to in the hour here. Again, oh my God, we do have Mark here. We're going to bring Mark back in later in the show, but right now it's a surprise. It's a surprise.
All right.
Even though
I'm so excited. So excited.
Even though we're pre-recorded, Mark will be here.
Yes.
One way or another.
I might even put bells on him.
What do you got, Blondie? Let's let you talk for a while. And go.
You never want me to talk.
I do. I love listening to you talk.
Oh, your hip waders don't go that high. Come on now.
Sadly, we don't have any news tonight.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the motorcycle world, but by the time you watch this, it will be irrelevant, and you've already read it. So,
hey, let's be serious about our news. It's not like we're delivering up-to-the-minute motorcycle news.
It's not breaking news. Not breaking news. But I will tell you that progress is being made on Smokeout. We just did a site visit. We've got bands booked. We've got
and we got some crazy big announcements coming up.
How's he say it on 16 Candles? What's happening? Hot stuff. It's happening.
That was the worst Long Duck Dong impersonation I've ever heard in my life.
I can't do impersonation.
Big Lek. Automobile.
What have I done?
All right, the whole show is going to shit right before my very eyes. Let's cut this one short and go to our first segment and check out a cool feature bike from Tyler Foster.
Out of Focus is brought to you by Garage Build. Submit your build, share your passion. Powered by Dennis Kirk.
Tyler Foster from Tioga, Pennsylvania. I own SikPipes, and this is my 72 shovel head. It's basically a stock frame. Kept the swing arm, the lowering swing arm, and I'm running Olin shocks. We redid the motor, did the pipes out the left-hand side, SMT wheels, and then I kind of tried to keep like the performance aspect of things, and did boosted brad risers with pro taper bars. And running mid-controls also with boosted brads mid-control pegs. The bike actually is an electric start and kick start, both. Open primary, stuff like that. Really just tried to keep the bike super fun to ride and rideable for sure. I told my buddy Kyle at Execution Style, that's who painted the bike. I just wanted to keep the bike like that performance style kind of, and mix the old school and new school together a little bit. So we originally just were going to do a little bit of orange and gray. And then we kind of got carried away with the orange, and then it worked out really good. I mean, I've been riding since I was like 18. I've had the shop for about, I think, 14 years now. We've been in business. We specialize in exhaust systems, but I build, bikes for myself and my wife to ride. I've wanted to do another shovel, and I haven't in quite a few years, so I feel like this one's one of my favorites because it's more of that chopper style that I really like and enjoy the most, so I really like this one a lot.
All right, hey, welcome back to the Dennis Kirk studio, another episode of Shop Talk. Every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern, we go live with another one of these episodes, and great show coming up tonight. We got some really, really good content. You know, if you guys have been keeping up with us, the last few weeks has been crazy. We've been all over the map of the United States collecting feature bikes and, you know, great event stories. But while we're doing that, and it still seems like an early part of the year, especially if you look at the thermometer outside, we're already starting to talk about Sturgis. Can you believe that, Blondie?
Oh my God.
Right?
Like, I'm ready, but I'm not
But
ready.
you're not ready. Ready. So not ready. So
I'm
not
always ready to go to Sturgis. If you were told me we were going to Sturgis next week, I'd be like, all right, let's go.
Yep.
Load up the bikes. We're going riding. I'm down.
So people ask us all the time, you know, is Sturgis really worth going to?
Yes.
You know, and I mean, that, yeah, emphatically. If you get there a week before the rally, a week after, completely on the opposite side of the calendar, it's worth going to Sturgis because there is just so much. My heart fills up every time we're there. But undoubtedly, one of the biggest things for a motorcycle person to consider Sturgis part of the mecca of motorcycling is the Hall of Fame and Museum there. So
it's a special place.
It really is. We have a chance today to talk to Keith and Paul from the museum, and we're going to go to them now. So let's hit the airways.
Just Hanging Out in the Shop is brought to you by Spectral Oils. Made in the USA since 1966, the best oil on planet Earth.
Keith, Paul, how's it going?
Great. How are you guys tonight?
Oh, we're good, but like I said,
cold.
We're watching that calendar, and it's cold outside, and we're already talking about Sturgis, and it's kind of crazy.
Although I think you guys got snow, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw pictures from Keith Ball, and it was halfway up his window.
Yeah, we had, at my house, the drift was about 3/4 up the way of my garage door.
Oh.
Couldn't get anything out of the garage to get the snow out of my driveway to get to work.
It's kind of hard to have happy thoughts right then, right? At least happy motorcycle thoughts.
And that's what stopped me from moving to Sturgis.
Well, listen.
It makes it any better. The day before it was 70 and sunny.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's what it's doing here.
It is. It tricked us. Well, listen, for just for a second, I want to give you a formal introduction. So we're actually talking to Keith Terry from the board from the Sturgis Hall of Fame, and Paul Johnson, actually the president of the Hall of Fame and Museum in Sturgis. Did I get that right?
Yep, you got that right.
Wow, look at me go. Notes can make you powerful, Heather. See, that's a lesson here.
Oh, good Lord.
So lots of stuff to talk about, but first and foremost, we want to get into the fact that on this show, we're actually going to be announcing the Hall of Fame inductees for this year, and you guys have some really, really exciting stuff going on.
We do. I'm going to let Keith address that. Keith is actually the chairman of our Hall of Fame committee, so I'm going to let him roll with that.
Well, we're really excited this year about all the new inductees. Every year, it's what we try to do is come up with the very best people out there that have not been inducted into the Hall of Fame, and try to find the best ones out there. We call them the all-stars of our industry. And this year we've just got a great group that are being brought in.
Well, let's talk about the process just for a second before we get into the list of this year, because I want people to understand that this starts with a community-based nomination process, right?
Well, there's a couple different ways that we end up finding who actually gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. The first one is that you can go on the website, the museum website. It'll have a form, an inductee form that you can, if you feel as though you have somebody that really would be a good candidate to be brought into the Hall of Fame, you can get the form off of the internet, fill it out, send it in, and they become a possibility to be inducted. The other way we do it is we reach out to already Hall of Famers and ask them if they, out of all the people that are not in the Hall of Fame, who would you consider being somebody to be inducted? If you had to pick one person, who would it be? And so they think about it and call back up and they say, well, I think, like Keith Ball, for example, I talk to him all the time and he comes back and says, well, out of the people that are not in the Hall of Fame currently, here's who should be, and has his idea. And then I use Marilyn Stimp and different ones that we know. And then we get who really are good candidates. Last year we had approximately 40 some candidates to pick from, and we're basically only going to pick 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's not easy, and it's a long process for us to look into it and decide who is going to be brought in this year.
Well, and
So we also have a couple other, not just people that do things in the racing industry or the bike building. It could be distribution, our parts manufacturers. We have the kickstands down category that we brought in last year. We're going to do it again this year, along with the Freedom Fighter category. And then we have the Lifetime Achievement Award winner. So we add that, and there's 8 different people that are going to be brought in. So it's quite a process to end up finding who actually is going to make it.
Well, and it's got to be especially difficult because of how many deserving people you guys have to choose from, and especially when you consider, you and I have talked about this, Keith, that for a lot of us from the biker side of things in motorcycling, we're never going to make it to the Pickarding Hall of Fame. So when it comes to our culture and representing this side of the aisle, as it were, this is our Hall of Fame. This is where our history and the names and faces of the people that have moved the needle in what we do, this is where that's going to happen. So it's an increasingly important thing. But I want to touch just for a second on one of the new categories you said was the kickstand down, and let you explain that a little bit, because sadly that started with the passing of Jessie Coombs. She was the first one, right?
Yeah, we had the most information on Jessie. It would be a new category. We felt as though it just wasn't right to overlook people that had done so much, contributed so much to our industries, but they happened to pass away before their time, you might say. And we just didn't have time to get them into the Hall of Fame. What happens typically is once they're gone, you kind of overlook them.
Yeah.
And we didn't think that should happen any longer. So we introduced the kickstands down category last year, Jessie Combs. She was our MC. We knew a lot about her. And now we're going to move on. So this year, we picked Benny Hardy as our kickstands down inductee.
That's great.
And, of course, Benny, and if you want me to explain a little more about it, I will.
Yeah, absolutely, because this is, I pulled up a website in pre-show. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. And it was funny, in Yahoo News, it says right off the bat, Ben Hardy, bikers you should know. And a truer statement has never been made, So yeah, absolutely. Like, talk a little bit about that. Obviously, there's going to be in-depth descriptions about these people, their lives, everything that they've done during the induction ceremony that happens at the breakfast, but let's just talk about it a little bit, because I think this is one of the most important inductions that's been made in the museum. I'm really excited for you guys.
Also. And the reason we went, we all think that about Ben Hardy is, here's a guy in South Central Los Angeles that in the 50s and through the 60s, building motorcycles, this is what he loved to do. He ended up building the two most iconic motorcycles in motorcycle history. By building the Billy bike and the Captain America motorcycle, which are the two bikes used in the movie in 1969, Easy Rider.
Yeah.
That introduced a whole new culture to our to the motorcycle industry. Benny Hardy went and he bought the two motorcycles from the LAPD and took them back to his shop, and he built those two motorcycles.
Yep.
And there's been so much controversy over the years about who built the bikes. A lot of people try to take credit for it, but that's over now. Ben Hardy built those two motorcycles, and we're going to introduce them at our induction ceremony.
No, and I think the greatest thing about this, you look for opportunities like this to give heroes to the next generation, and if you could say anything about this man, I think one of the things that makes him eligible for that status is the fact that regardless of the credit that he was due, the limelight that he should have had, or anything else, he loved what he did so much that he did it in spite of everything. And I don't even have to say anything more about that. Like that is the definition, clinical definition of what a hero is made of.
It didn't matter to him who wanted to take credit, which a lot of them tried to. He just went back to work. He knew who did it.
Yep.
That's all that mattered to him. And I think that it's at our ceremony, we're going to be able to let everybody know exactly who built it. And
more of the story. That's gonna be a really exciting time.
And the one that actually knows that story better than anybody is one of our Hall of Famers, and that's Sugar Bear.
Yeah.
And he's going to introduce Ben Hardy to our entire industry.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love Sugar Bear. He's one of my favorite people.
Go ahead and tell him. Go ahead. You already started.
Chris is always a little sour when I mention Sugar Bear. He is the creator of one of my all-time favorite.
One of
my all-time favorite motorcycle, and Chris is a little sour because it's not his bike.
Listen,
it's Sugar Bear's.
It's kind of hard for me. I mean, I've built quite a few many motorcycles, and I don't profess to put myself on the same level as Sugar Bear, but she came right out and said that one time in front of him, and he has never let me forget that to this day.
Well, Sugar is a very special person.
He is. He really is.
He also felt some of the same things that Benny Hardy felt.
Yeah.
I'm from Los Angeles, so I grew up in LA, and I knew Sugar. I didn't know Ben Hardy. I got to know about Ben Hardy in depth by way of knowing Sugar Bear.
Yeah.
He introduced me to all the things, probably a lot more than other people know. But now that he agreed to go up on stage and talk about Ben Hardy. And the other really cool thing I think that is going to happen at the induction breakfast is that Sugar Bear has the very last motorcycle that Ben Hardy built.
Wow.
We're going to have that motorcycle on stage for people to see, and I think that's so cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Incredible. That in and of itself is worth the price of admission. Without a doubt.
That's what the Hall of Fame is all about. For us to find the very best, most worthy, the ones that have risked it all, that they believed in what they do, no matter what. They didn't change and jump ship or do anything else.
Yeah.
They stuck with it, and now it's time for them to be recognized and honored into the Hall of Fame. That's as high as you can get.
So let's move on so that we can keep some stuff for breakfast. I don't want to force you guys to give away too much of the good stuff. If you let me, I would sit here and make this whole show about Ben, and we come back and talk about the other people in the next 5 or 6 shows. But do you want to move on to Karen Davidson?
Well, both Bill and Karen, as everybody should know, both of them are Willie G's son and daughter.
Willie and Nancy.
And Nancy. Both Willie and Nancy are Hall of Famers, and now their son and daughter are going to be Hall of Famers.
That's great.
They both work at the motor company currently, and that's why we're bringing them. We're bringing them in, and that's why you need to go to the induction breakfast to learn more about it.
Well, I think one of the greatest things about the induction breakfast is it gives the average person the opportunity to meet their heroes. Yeah. Those people that have guided the way through the industry and that they've looked up to and have, like you said, risked everything and persevered through it all. Like, it gives us the opportunity to shake their hand and say thank you. I think that's one of the greatest things about the ceremony, that you do open it to the public.
And it's like you say, just like, meeting Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
And some of the great athletes. This is the best we have in the motorcycle industry, and being in the same room and listening to their stories, because that's what it is. We, like you said, you built motorcycle. We've all built motorcycles, but to hear the stories,
yeah, buddy,
and hear the history of why they've done what they've done. I know when I was inducted in 2014, I know what it felt like to go up on stage, and it's one of the biggest things that ever happened to me, and I know how each one of them have felt. They call, like Bob Kay, you mentioned. Bob, he must have called me 10 times to just talk about a Hall of Fame and what it meant to him.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal.
Yeah, so that's the next one for us to talk to. I want to, real quick, I just want to say about Bill and Karen. Both of them are such fantastic representations of that company, because for completely different reasons. I mean, Bill is all business. He's so mild-mannered, and then Karen, like, if you have the time to spend any time out, like, in any of the events with her, she's a hot shit.
She is.
She really is, man. Like,
Chris occasionally fanboys over
She's
Karen.
awesome. She's awesome. But I mean, Bill is too. I've been out on demo rides with Bill and done stuff with them. They're great ambassadors for that company and for motorcycling. So fantastic picks there as well. But Bob Kay, like, talk about some history, man. That cat has deep roots in all of this.
Well, he was one of the, when Nimco started, he was one of the ones that built that company. Ended up selling to Tucker Rocky, and Bob ran it. A New Yorker it went to Texas, right?
Yeah.
And so, but Bob, he knows the industry. He knows, I call it Who Shot John.
Where the bodies are buried. Yep.
And you want to know anything about anybody, you just call Bob Kay, and he's just a special person. And he listening to him tell us how honored
Oh yeah.
and what a privilege it is to be inducted. It makes you feel good.
Hey, you know what, man? Like, I don't have to tell either one of you guys. It's nearly impossible to figure out how to make a living in the motorcycle industry. To do it for a lifetime is a whole nother thing, and then to get set apart from the other people who also figured out how to make a living and make a contribution to this. That's our gold watch. You know, as motorcycle people, this is our gold watch. This is that, you know, notification that, hey, you made it. You actually, that thing that you loved since you were a kid, you helped make it different.
When other people recognize all the effort and work that you put in, and they decide that you're worthy of being brought in, that's all you need.
No. I love that too, especially with Bob. You know, I've had the privilege for many, many years to call Bob a friend. And I've seen him through, you know, hard bikes and, you know, all the Ultimate Builder stuff with JP Cycle and, you know, just about everything that he was ever involved in. And I love when you get somebody, one of the younger guys that doesn't know who Bob is, because he's so unassuming when he's doing all of his stuff. And you say to him, say, hey man, you know who that cat is? And you say, yeah. Do you ever remember a company, the New England Motorcycle Products Company? And they're obviously, most of them are like, no. And then you tell them, okay, well, if you take the letters and you put out all that together, it's Nemco. And Nemco, you know, moved on to become Biker's Choice, Tucker Rocky, like that. That's the lineage of that. And I don't think people realize that, you know, in the beginning in all of this and at the end of the day, these are regular people that are out there busting their ass, guys like Bob.
Well, you know, that's why we formed a Hall of Fame committee. We have both Paul and I chair the Hall of Fame committee, but we have Dr. Craig Bailey, a local motorcyclist and a guy that's president of different schools, colleges. Rod Woodruff, mostly everybody knows Rod, the owner of the Buffalo Chip. He's on the committee. Vinny Terranova, he owned a Harley-Davidson dealership in Denver for over 40 years. And Scott Jacobs, world-renowned artist, that was the one that brought it all to light about Karen and Bill.
Yeah.
Laid all of it out like we're talking right now, and then it was a no-brainer. They're going into the Hall of Fame. Big support from Scott Jacobs, but that's part of the process. People that actually know the motorcycle industry, and we end up picking people like Bob Kay.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Definitely well deserved. Bob is one of the greatest ambassadors of motorcycling and custom motorcycling.
Still is.
Yep, absolutely, he really is. It's in his blood, I think.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
So who do we have up next?
We have Carlo and Emma Lejean. Very interesting about them. I don't know them that well. They had a Harley Davidson dealership in Auburn and California. But one day when I was at my shop, the phone rang, and I answered it, and the person on the other end said, hi, is this Keith? And I said, yes. And he said, well, I'm Willie G. Davidson.
Well.
And I'm going, yeah, you know. So I'm wondering who's messing with me. And he said, no, I'm Willie G. Davidson. And I could tell, you know, it really was. And he called to put his endorsement in on Carlo and Emma.
Wow. That's a pretty outstanding endorsement.
I'm sitting there, I'm going, you know, is this, for me, this was getting a call from Ted Williams,
Yeah, when a lifetime
Yeah, and what are you going to say, no?
So I've met him, 2 or 3 times, shook his hand, all that other stuff, but so did every, 50 people are around him all the time. But when he called, and we talked on the phone for about 15 minutes at least, and told me a little bit about things he was going through. But his whole phone call was all about explaining all the things that Carlo and Emma had been involved with. All the things that they set up and do for other people is quite a deal. Maybe Paul can talk about some of the things a little more than I.
Yeah, well, Carlo was a great racer in his own right early on, and got into the Harley Davidson dealership business after owning a custom shop in the 80s. I want to say early mid 80s. Ultimately retired from that after a long period of running that, and then opened an Indian dealership in Auburn as well. But what they're really known for, aside from that in the area, is the philanthropic work that they do. And they do a number of different events that benefit wounded warriors and various veterans groups, along with some other local charities. And it wasn't just Willie G that made the phone call. And of course, you get a phone call from a Lifetime Achievement Award winner, you take that call and you take it serious. But we actually, the committee actually received a lot of phone calls about them. And these are people, some of them are also Hall of Fame inductees themselves. And when those types of people call you and are telling you stories about people that need to be considered, those are the ones that the committee takes very seriously, and they get on the list. And in some cases like this one, they move to the front pretty quickly because the stories are compelling, and we can't wait to tell the story.
Oh, and that's just the one thing that we talked about in pre-show, the Sweetheart Run. This is going to be their 42nd, so 42nd annual. Imagine just keeping an event going that long, the kind of work that goes into that alone, but then, like you said, all the charity work and stuff behind it.
Yeah, incredible work. So that's going to be a lot of fun to have that story told on our stage during the rally.
Right on. So this the next person that we have up is the man responsible for the rookies of '79. Which is this is a great story to tell too. Like, you're gonna have a really, really long show at the breakfast. It's gonna be something else.
A target rich environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Tom, if you go to the races or you go almost anywhere, Tom's there. And the owner of Saddleman, their product has been in drag specialty. Everybody has had a Saddleman type seat, something. And actually, just recently, both Paul and I went to the Trailblazers banquet, where they have their own Hall of Fame, and Tom was brought in to the Hall of Fame for the Trailblazers last month.
Oh, that's great.
So I was, we saw him there, and now he's gonna again be honored at the Sturgis Motorcycle Hall of Fame this year. So he's a big, that's a big deal.
No, that's great. That even says on the rookies website. We're going to put all these websites up while we're broadcasting here too, so that other people can read along a little bit and get some insight on these people, because it's an amazing list this year. You guys should be very proud.
One that the last one is Robin Bradley. Now, that's a name that probably most people are not aware of, but if you have a motorcycle shop or something, you get his magazine, AMD magazine, every month, and he's from England, and we thought at our meetings that what we need to do is honor somebody from the European market also. And we don't want to overlook that. There's so many great bike builders and parts manufacturers in Europe. So Robin, we thought would be just the right person that could introduce more people to us out of the European market. So he also, here in Sturgis, he ran the world, what did he call it?
The AMD?
AMD World Championship of Custom Motorcycle Building.
Championship.
Yeah.
And honored the best bike builders in the world.
And they still do that, but I gotta tell you, like, this is an ongoing conversation for a lot of us. Since it's moved to Europe, there's no chance for American builders anymore. You know, and this is just an observation, but while it was here, it was a direct split. Like, I always talk about the fact that custom building in the United States is steeped in hot rod traditions. You know, it's the flavor of hot rod and everything that came out of that area. And it's still, no matter what style of motorcycles we get into, there's styling notes that are key to that influence. And the European designs are much more about engineering and, you know, the prowess that goes along with pulling things off like that. I would love to see Sturgis have its own world shows again, where we get American world show.
I think you're right. You know, you go over there, and look at some of the bikes that are being built over there. Fred Codlin, he was the first one that we brought in as a European. There's many
and they're amazing. I mean, the bikes you see there every year, I don't want to take anything away from that. They're amazing builds.
Yeah, and Fred's a great example of what you're talking about, Chris, too, with the influences. And, you know, Fred, his stuff is so technical.
Yeah.
And it's all about engineering and geometric shapes, and it's so distinctive and fun and very, very different from the American style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's a great choice too, because, you know, being a magazine publisher and doing a lot of the work of the industry, I can sympathize with Robin's plight. Like, I can imagine doing literally the work from inside the industry for people who are, you know, day in and day out trying to make their living based on the information that you're giving them. That's a hard spot to be in. That's a serious achievement in his lifetime.
Well, so we thought we would honor him and get maybe even get the interest of more of the European market to come to the United States and enjoy Sturgis, and by way of him covering our breakfast.
Yep.
And so we'll see what happens.
Oh, that's great. That's great, because I do think there is a large segment that comes for Sturgis. They save for years sometimes to make that pilgrimage over, and it's life changing for a lot of them.
And once you come there, you come back.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's life changing for all of us. Okay, hey, on that note, let's take a real quick break here in the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. We're going to pay some bills, show some love to our sponsors and advertisers. On the other side of that, we're actually going to look at a little bit of tech. We're back in the Grease and Gears garage, all the way back to when we were finishing the T-Dragger. This is the first step in final assembly.
Have to give it away?
I know, man. I love this bike so much. But we're going to go check that out real quick. And when we come back into the studio, we're going to get back into it with these fellas and talk about how people end up in Sturgis and just don't ever go home. So
I can see that.
Right.
I can totally see that.
You see it every year. You keep telling me we stay longer and longer after Sturgis. But right now, we're going to break.
riding takes you from A to B or just lets you escape, there's a flow to the road you share. So go with it. Eyes open, and always have the Law Tigers by your side. If you've been injured in a motorcycle accident, visit us at lawtigers.com. Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers.
Hey, it's Billy from Twisted Tea. We're live in Sturgis, and you're watching ShopTalk.
Proven performance is not some sort of empty slogan or marketing catchphrase, but a way of thinking, a mantra, and something we've practiced every day of the week for the last 6 decades. Designed, manufactured, and tested in the heartland of America. On and off the track, S&S Cycle is the first choice in power sports performance.
Hey man, it's Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, Greasing Gears Garage. Today we're back in the garage to start final assembly on the Twisted Tea Dragger. Everything's back from chrome, everything's back from, will be back from paint. The engine is done. Thank you very much, Rich Petoniak. You know, anybody that builds bikes or has gone through this process knows the first thing you do when you get a bike back from powder coat paint or chrome is chase all the threads. You know, a little bit of extra time right now is gonna get you through hours and hours of aggravation later on. I'll try to key on a few things as we go, but you'll probably end up seeing a lot of this in super high-speed video. I do want to thank a number of people as we start this. Tech Cycle, the belt drive, S&S could not have done this build without you. Rich Petoniak, absolutely essential. My guys at Delubeck for helping us out with the powder coating. Rob Nussbaum and his connections through various part suppliers. Retrocycle helped me get stuff, you know, at a minute's notice. He was shipping shit in here right up to and including just this moment. UPS dropped something off. Paco, as always, Paco comes through. Anytime you're doing a chopper project, you can't do it without Paco. And of course, last but certainly not least, Twisted Tea. Twisted Tea puts these bikes together once a year with us and gives them away to someone in their motorcycle family. So it's a really great thing that company does to celebrate the fact that you guys love them so much, and specifically Billy and Tank out at the events. And you know, here we go, we're rolling another one. So clean up your threads. I try to get everything that I think I'm gonna need lined up ahead of time. You can see over here, I'm just finishing up the front end. I did a progressive lowering kit on this front end, as the book states, the prescribed amount of fluid going back into the fork leg. And Motion Pro fork vise, best tool in my shop, like I can't even tell you. Motion Pro fork fluid measuring funnel, literally just twist it on. Once you get the desired amount or the prescribed amount by the book, you get exactly what you're supposed to into the fork tube. I don't know if that's where you're supposed to hang that, but it works good for me. And I'm not sure how you do things, but as I take things apart, when we're getting ready to go out to paint and powder coat, I get these handy dandy little baggies, write everything on it, so as I get to a section of the bike that I'll be working on, everything that I need should be right here for that part of the bike. A little bit of Bell Ray's waterproof grease. I've already pre-packed the bearings for this. Get a little layer inside here, a little layer inside here. You guys have been hearing us rave about this product, and it's good news. Take the motor off on one side of the shop, off the bench. Okay, so this is the end of day 2, 3, final assembly, day 3. Tomorrow we're gonna finally get the shocks in, get the fender struts on. We're just gonna leave these pipes here for show because obviously we don't want that in the wind. We're doing the wheel and everything, but we're pretty close to being ready for paint to come back. My boy Tom, I want to come over and stand over here because I want to give you some props. So Tom helps out in the shop all the time. He, like, part of the only reason why we ever make it to events is because of this cat. He gets the mini bikes ready, he helps pack the truck, he helps fix the truck, he helps fix the bikes. But this is your first full up, like ground up bike build. And what do you think?
It's awesome.
Most of building a bike is really about problem solving though, right?
It is. Yeah, and learning with me too, but yeah.
I mean, you get this stuff from different manufacturers, and not that, you know, not talking shit on anyone, but
no.
Nothing fits exactly. You know, you gotta find your way through stuff. Sometimes it takes a little grind, sometimes a little bend.
Yeah, nothing's perfect. It's even like with cars. Same thing.
Yep. But I gotta give you props, dude, on those handlebars, because like I said, this is his first ground up build, so we bought a set of controls that were completely empty, completely disassembled. Tom figured all this stuff out, did the holes for the handlebars to do internal wiring, and assembled them and everything, and that shit comes with no instructions, and it's a little bit much when you first look at it.
Yeah.
Like I said, end of day 3, it's been some hellacious hours, but you know, knowing that this thing, when it's all done, is going to roll across the stage at the Buffalo Chip, and then some lucky son of a bitch was going to end up with this thing sitting in their garage. And boy, I'll tell you what, you guys can't see it from over there, but the Tech belt drive, like Tech, that shit's incredible. Why is that so good for my shovel head? Props out to Steve Broyles for helping us out today, figure all this shit out, and a couple things we were stuck on, Poppy jumped right in, so. Awesome, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Day 4.
Hey, it's Billy from Twisted Tea. I just got done riding the loop here in Daytona on the 2022 sweepstakes bike that we're giving away. And I'm telling you what, this bike is bad to the bone. It's going to be hard coming off this thing, but we have to. It could be yours if you enter to win. Go to twistedtea.com or cyclesource.com, and good luck. Until then, keep it twisted.
Okay, welcome back to the Dennis Kirk Studios. I'm your host for ShopTalk, Chris Callen with Cycle Source Magazine. And when we left off, we were talking about how Sturgis changes lives. And Heather and I can definitely attest to that for sure, like
Absolutely.
we said. You know, it's definitely changed our lives.
Mm-hmm. Do you see the gray?
But, you know, the truth about that is people save, like you were saying, for a lifetime to get there the first time. But then it seems like the second, the third, you know, on and on and on.
It's a special place, like for so many reasons. The riding, the people, like especially if you're fortunate enough to go there outside of Raleigh and actually spend some time. It's really a special place.
But what about you guys? Keith, let's start with you and tell us about how you got to Sturgis and then how you ultimately stayed.
It's like the 30 straight years that I've come. Now, you know, I live here now for the last 18 years. So does Paul. And we, you know, come from other places. Once you come here, you know, it's hard not to enjoy the Black Hills in South Dakota. That's one of the most beautiful places. And I'll say during the summer,
Right.
I'm still taking time to get used to the winter.
Now, Paul, where did you relocate from?
My wife and I moved here from Michigan full time in 2018. We had a house in Spearfish since 2006 and came here various times of the year, always for Raleigh, and decided early on that this was where we were going to retire to. And we were both in a position where, you know, when we turned 55, we left and picked up those pension things that nobody has anymore. And, moved to the Black Hills and absolutely love living here. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, there's something about it. I mean, we talk about this all the time. We did a documentary, you know, a couple years ago on the fact that it's something primal inside of us that drives us to go for a little more out of life, to a little more understanding, a little more experience, something more, and it draws you to that part of the country. I don't know what it is. It's like there's a giant psychic magnet in the ground.
Well, you know, you come here from wherever you might live. It might be in the city, and you come here and have the wide open spaces. There's endless riding that you can do, and I live in Spearfish Canyon, and
Wow.
all you have to do is go there one time, and you've got to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole area offers the best motorcycle riding probably anywhere. So it's just something that you get hooked and you got to come back.
Yep.
So now, Paul, you are president of the museum. How long have you been involved with the museum, and how did that start for you, and where does that passion with you start?
Well, as I said, I moved here in 2018 and was kind of sliding into retirement life and trying to do as much riding as I could and doing a little fly fishing and some other things that I like to do. And sometime in early 2019, I got a call from Keith, and they were looking to fill a board position here at the museum. And they particularly wanted somebody that had some knowledge about insurance. And my career was as a commercial farm and ranch underwriter. I spent my first 10 years in the career as a commercial underwriter. So I had some knowledge and understand insurance contracts and understand coverages and those kinds of things. And the board thought that would be valuable to have that piece. We had a member on the board that was a banker. We've had local business people. We have people in the motorcycle world. With me, they got somebody that filled both of those roles. I came out of the insurance business, but I've also been involved in motorcycling for a long time. I kind of started in the hog chapter world, like a lot of people do. My good friend Dave Bell in Lansing, Michigan, kind of took me under his wing and asked me if I'd be his hog chapter director back in, I don't know, 2003 or 2004 or something. And I ended up doing that serving as his director for about 8 years or something like that. Along the way, became interested in custom motorcycles and ultimately became a member of the Hamsters organization. And so that was kind of what led me to the board, were those two experiences. And then last year in January 2021, the other board members voted me to be president of the board, which also makes me president of the corporation.
That's a big job. I mean, the Sturgis Museum and Hall of Fame, that's a special place for a lot of people. Like, for a lot of people, and no disrespect, like being able to walk through there for a lot of people is like going to church.
It is an amazing place. And, you know, you talked about the draw for Sturgis and the Black Hills for people that are in our life. And it's true. And we sit right at the epicenter of that. We're right on the corner of Junction and Main Street in Sturgis, South Dakota, where everything happens at the rally. And, you know, a lot of people come in. We get people from all over the world that come into the museum. In fact, I was in earlier and looking at our guest book. Just this week, we've had people from, I think, 10 different countries.
Wow.
That have come in from all over, from Australia, from Europe, from Canada, from Central America, from South America, and also from Asia as well. This is just the last 2 weeks. So it's amazing the draw that this place has year round. And it's because of that Sturgis name. It's what really differentiates us from every other motorcycle museum in the world, particularly the United States, because there's a lot of great museums out there, but there's only one Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame.
No.
And so that's a huge draw for us. And it's great to be on the corner of Junction and Main. Let's put it that way.
One I love too, like the, you know, and anytime you get to go through the museum, if you spend the time to stop and read the signs that are on the display, you know, like we had this picture up just a minute ago, and I'm lucky enough to know a little bit of the backstory of this. So when I saw this picture, I grabbed it to get ready for the show. But that's, you know, that whole thing just represents Sturgis history, just looking at it, you know, and with good reason too. I mean, you know, when you read about it, that was the year, that was the manufacturer that Pappy Hole was a dealer for. That's where it all started. 1938, first races ever, and that's the physical embodiment of the beginning of the Sturgis story.
Yeah, we're sitting in the main gallery of the museum right now. Keith and I are looking at that motorcycle. It's about 8 feet from us right now.
That's great.
Beautiful, beautiful piece.
So one of the last categories that we have to talk about for this year is one of my favorite, because I will never forget the picture that it floated around for years and years of Rogue with his bare muscle, his bare arm up, and his muscle made, and he has his Sturgis Hall of Fame member on his arm tattooed, and that's to signify his place as the freedom fighter induction that he got. But this year you guys have a freedom fighter induction that's a pretty special one too.
Yeah, the Motorcycle Riders Foundation is coming in as the entire organization is being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and we're proud to do that. You know, in the past we've done a lot of individuals. I think this might actually be the first group that we've inducted as a freedom fighter. But, you know, they do such great work lobbying for our industry and our rights as riders, working with all of the local abate chapters and some of the other groups and lobby groups at the state level and the local level. And, you know, they kind of act as a guide for them, actually teaching people how to do these things and making sure that everybody understands how important the role is and how to get it done and get it done effectively. So I think it's a great choice. This was an idea that was brought to us, and we really liked it and consulted with a lot of our folks that are in that world from the abate chapters and from the freedom fighter genre, and everybody thinks it's a great choice. We're excited about it.
Yeah, you know, not to take anything away from Rogue and his guys, because they were at the very beginning of abate. You know, and I mean, the work that they did back then, man, they were what would be considered terrorists today, you know, seriously, because they would storm the Capitol building. they would throw a giant week-long party there until people were like, okay, what do you guys need to make you go away? But the world is different today. Government works differently, and it just seems like the organization that's behind the MRF, like they get that and they work within the framework, because that's literally what you have to do. You have to change it from the inside, and that's why we're members of it, and it's a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I'm sorry, Chris.
No, go ahead.
We've gone through all of the inductees for the class of 2022.
Oh, one more.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
we have
goodness, I'm so sorry.
Lifetime Achievement Award.
My bad.
Talk.
My gosh.
How could you overlook this one? My goodness.
I'm so sorry. I was watching the list.
We have, you know, I think it was 7 years ago. I had mentioned to the board that we need to introduce a new category, and I said we should bring in the Lifetime Achievement Award. And Rod Woodruff immediately said, well, who would you bring in? And I'm just going, wait a minute. And he goes, Arlen Ness. So now we call it the Arlen Ness Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah.
That goes to somebody that's already a Hall of Famer, that has contributed more than anybody else. We try to pick the best of the best. And Arlen was the first one. And now this year, we're going to bring in Don MD as the Lifetime Achievement Award winner.
Yeah, boy, and you couldn't argue with that.
50 years ago, Don won the Daytona 200, I believe. And prior to that, Don's father won that race.
Wow.
So it's a great story. And he's a name that a lot of people don't know, but he's the owner of the drag specialty magazine. And everybody, if you got a dealer, you get it every month, or every other month, and it tells you all about the products and everything that's available. And Don's just done a great job. He's also the president of the
Trailblazers.
Trailblazers. And he just does so much for the industry that we believe he's very worthy of getting the Lifetime Achievement Award.
And listen, again, I don't want to take away too much from your ceremony, but just any search that you do on this cat, that one race, that was almost one of the most important moments in motorcycle racing history. You know, in '72, he won at Daytona as a privateer. First win at that race for Yamaha, smallest displacement race bike to take first place, first victory for any two-stroke, first and only father-son win at Daytona. So like that one race was almost the perfect moment in time for motorcycle history.
We're gonna introduce all of that at our
and more. I'm sorry, I had to say it because I've been a fan of his for years. I got to be on a press thing with him with Metzler not long ago, and I sat like a stupid little kid next to him and just sat there like he probably thought I was creepy.
We just did that.
Yeah. we just
did it because we went to the Trailblazers, and you know, when you're looking around the room and you're seeing the Roger DeCosters and the Mert Walwals and Dave Aldenas and Brock Glovers, you know, there's so many great people there. There were Hall of Famers from Colleen and Mike Taylor were there. Everybody that in the racing crowd, I think, has been there at one time or another, and it was such an honor for us to be asked to go there and be in the same room with with that group as well. It was, and Don was the MC. He ran the whole show. It was quite a deal to see all those people, and Don did a great job, and we're very excited that he's going to be on stage for us this year.
Yeah, buddy, that's fantastic. And this is why I said, this place is so important. This place is so important because out of all the names that you read tonight, only one of them was eligible to get into the AMA Hall of Fame. So the achievement and recognition that you guys are providing through the Sturgis Motorcycle Hall of Fame and Museum, it is critically important for our culture. So this is why we wanted to have you guys on. I can't thank you enough for being here.
Well, thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And hopefully, leading up to this, we can bring you guys some more news. We've offered, and I think it's okay that we're going to do this, but we're going to actually broadcast the induction ceremony from the breakfast for the people around the world that can't be there. We're going to broadcast it through our network with Grease and Gears TV.
But for those people that are going to be in Sturgis this year, you can still get your tickets to the breakfast.
Yes.
And like I said before, this is your chance to shake these people's hands and thank them for leading the way in the industry. Bob K and Don MD, and hear Sugar Bear speak about Ben Hardy.
Oh, that's going to be
that. Like I said, that in
else.
and of itself for me is worth the price of admission. I was just,
cool. There's a lot of cool things that happen during the rally. And there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes during the rally, that most people that come here never get to see. And the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame induction breakfast is one of those events. Michael Lichter's show at the Chip is probably another one, and there's a few other things that are pretty cool and pretty exclusive. But one of the things about our event is people can go buy tickets.
yes.
And I know you guys are going to flash that up on the screen, but tickets are moving pretty good.
I know. I noticed a lot of
we've
sold
got about
outs there.
235 left
Yeah.
out of 680. I think we've got 235 tickets still available, but you can go there. There's an interactive seating chart. You can pick your seats. It's $55 a ticket for the seats that we have left. And you can come and rub elbows with the greatest people in our industry.
And for anybody, it took me years of acclimating to the whole Sturgis rally before I started looking around at, okay, I've done Main Street, I've done this right, I've done that right, I've seen the monuments. It took me years to find my way to the Hall of Fame induction breakfast that was going on. And it's seriously one of the most important things you can do, because you can sit in the room and look around that room and all of motorcycling is there. That alone will blow your mind, but all the stuff that goes on, the pomp and circumstance of the ceremony is killer. But even standing outside and hearing the conversations as people are going in, like it's a really, really special thing.
It is to all of us. And we're on the board. Just to watch all the people come in and just mingle around, because while you're there, like you say, standing outside, here you are with the most important people that made our industry as great as it is. I don't believe there's any other industry anywhere that's more fun than what the motorcycle industry is.
Yeah.
It's just really evolved into quite a deal. So we hope that if you do have time and you are in Sturgis, you come by and see us.
So tell everybody where and when it is. I don't think we covered that yet, did we? Just how to buy tickets.
It's the Wednesday of the rally, which means it's going to be August 10th this year. That's Wednesday of the rally, August 10th. And I believe it is going to start at, what is the start time, Keith? Is it 8?
It's 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, 8:30. I think we start serving coffee, or 8 o'clock we start serving coffee out in the hallway.
You want to get there
area.
earlier than that, though, because
Yeah.
it takes a while to get in. You have to, show your tickets and all that, and we try to get the breakfast, what we'll call, out of the way, and then start the event. And
yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, and those conversations in the parking lot will be great. And quick shout out to our friends over at Law Tigers, who are presenting sponsor for this event and take such good care of us. We really appreciate Ari and Lionel and all their guys.
We couldn't do it as well as we do without them.
Boy, absolutely. And they sure do deserve credit, because this story is something that happens again and again and again. They're behind the scenes with so many things that are important, that you obviously for brand identity and everything else, but it's not like they're going to be standing at the breakfast handing out brochures hoping that they're going to do some work for people there.
They truly care about
moving this thing
forward, and they love motorcycles. Like, we just got to spend some time with Ari in Arizona, and Chris was riding through the canyons with him.
And buddy, I got to tell you something.
He's a rider. It's not for show.
We stopped at one of the stops, and I went up to him, and I'm embarrassed that I'm telling this story, but I went up to him. I said, "Hey man, who was riding your motorcycle?" And he said I was. I said, "No, you were not," because him and Nick Trask took off, and I mean, he has some mad skills. I could not believe it.
He's got a shiny new hot rod too that he's on.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
So, but they are great partners.
You better have some skills if you're going to ride with Nick Trask.
Right.
Yeah. Start with, for sure.
Because Nick doesn't play games.
Oh no, he came by me like I was backing up. I'm going, and I don't know, but Ari and Lionel, they're both just very ordinary guys that just love motorcycles and love the industry, and they help the museum so much in what they do. They allows us to do some of the things that we're able to do, and we really appreciate it.
Right
That's
on.
awesome.
Well, thank you guys for taking time with us tonight and getting this on the record. We're going to have a bunch more stuff coming up between now and Sturgis. We're actually going to try to start tracking down some of your inductees from this year. I know we can get Bob K on the show, and we'll reach out and see who all we can get on for additional interviews. But like Heather was telling you, get out and get tickets today. Get your spot.
Yep, you can go to sturgismuseum.com. You can get your tickets to the Hall of Fame there. You can figure out how and when to visit the Sturgis Museum. They're open 7 days a week from 10 to 4.
Actually, we're going to have extended hours starting May 1st. I think it's 9 to 5 for the rest of the summer season.
So it doesn't have to just be the motorcycle rally when you go visit this historic place.
We have actually very good traffic of visitors coming throughout the course of the year, and there's a lot to see. It's always changing. We've got, I think, just about 100 motorcycles at any given time on the property. All genres. We've got a gallery full of custom bikes. We've got military bikes. We've got a ton of race bikes. A wide variety of things to look at here in the museum, and people always seem to enjoy it. We've got special family rates, we've got veteran discounts, senior discounts. So come on down. I think the average family without any discounts pays $15 for the whole crew to come through.
Yeah, so there's really no reason to not go. Just saying.
It's a really good family-friendly option to come through, but people seem to love it, and our international visitors really, really love it. And so come on through, and the gift shop is great. Our museum manager, Penny, does a great job with that and making sure we have quality stuff for people that want to take home a little souvenir from Sturgis, South Dakota.
Yes, sir. Well, Keith, Paul, thank you both again for your time tonight. I appreciate it, and we'll see you in the Black Hills.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks, Heather. Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you so much.
Every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern, we go live with this program. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I think we're getting to the point where we actually feature Miss Heather Callan with the latest, greatest motorcycle events.
The Shop Talk events calendar is brought to you by Twisted Tea, the original hard iced tea that helps you keep it twisted.
So this is pretty cool. We actually get to stay in Tennessee for a little bit because we're at TMMR. We've just finished up. It was a great weekend. Now, next weekend, Memorial Day weekend, we are going to Hohenwald, Tennessee. Booyah! For the inaugural Sons of Speed event there at the, Tennessee National Raceway. That is on Sunday the 29th. Chris is going to be calling those races.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
this could be bad.
I'm going to bring you guys as much
fail.
live feed as we can. I'm not overly hopeful about internet connection. There's one hotel in a 30-mile radius. So, but we'll see. So stay tuned.
You might have to listen close.
Right. Stay tuned for that. Better yet, come hang out with us.
Yes.
There's going to be practice Friday and Saturday. Racing
2 days
on
of practice,
Sunday.
dude. 2 days. 2 entire days of
How
practice.
bummed are you? You're not.
I know. And especially so, like, Roadside and his daddy are working on a flathead, a 45 for us for Flat Broke Chops and Rods to have a race team. It's actually Flat Broke Racing and Tropical Tattoo. It's a joint effort. Ooh. But sadly, I don't think it's going to be ready. We may actually see Roadside and his daddy at the race.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I did
see that Mr. Banks got new tires put on his bike.
I know. It's going to kill me that Tom's out there racing and I can't get in on it.
But you're going to be calling it.
It's
and
a clay track, damn it.
Oh,
I've never gotten to ride a clay track.
Anyway, go to billylane.net to grab your tickets. We hope to see you there because we will be there with or without bells on. Also that weekend is Smoky Mountain Chopper Fest, Back to the Basics, and that is in Franklin, North Carolina, I do believe. Ride for Autism, Saturday, June 11th at Brunswick Harley-Davidson in Troy, New York. Excuse me. You can find out more at Ride for the Ribbon. Go ahead. Sing it.
Born free.
June 25th and 26th out on the West Coast. You can go to bornfree.com to get more information on that. Lowbrow and Get Down, Nelson Ledges Quarry, June 24th and 26th in Garrettsville, Ohio. 2022 Iowa Hog Drags and Nostalgia Reunion.
Look, they're literally dragging hogs. Okay.
But that's a great event. We've had, the privilege
Fuel
of
Cleveland. Look at that. 2 lowbrow events in the same event thing.
Well, would you look at that? Anyway, July 30th for that. That's the day after your birthday.
I know.
I think we might actually be on our way to Sturgis for that. Cycle Source, Sturgis. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Booyah! In Sturgis, and actually not everything is even on here. We're going to start the week with our bike show on Sunday, August 7th. Monday is Vintage Day. That's become one of my favorite days of the week. Wednesday is our Run to the Line. And Friday is our old time rodeo games at the Iron Horse. And we'll be adding more as time goes on.
Hey, wait, before you pass this over, Cycle Source celebrates 25 years in Sturgis.
Oh my God.
This year, 25 years of the magazine. But look at this. This is one of my lifetime achievement awards.
Annual?
16 years we've been doing Run to the Line and our bike show.
That's awesome.
In Sturgis. You know what? It really is. And again, every time we talk about this, I have to go back to thanking Jay Allen for believing us all those years ago and saying, hey, you guys ought to put together a ride. You ought to do something, and letting us have his place to do it.
You're the idea man, Chris.
No, Jay's a good man.
No, he has always been a visionary, and I think without him, things would be a lot different.
Did you notice in the flyer I got our new skull guy?
I did notice that. I was very impressed.
Right? Yeah.
Impressed.
Hey, that took me some time, man.
What's that? Subliminal messaging? I don't know. Anyway, so we have a ton of cool stuff going on. We got the Black Hills Boogie. That's Thursday night. Bring your best disco garb and get ready to get your groove on. Chopper show.
Old school chopper show.
Old School Chopper Show at Full Throttle Saloon on Monday, August 8th. That's our anniversary.
We didn't actually have a flyer up here. Oh, yeah, we do. For Mondo's Schools Out
they're
Chopper
out of
Show.
order.
Yeah, that's all right.
Fired.
No, you're good.
Damn it. So Mondo's Old School Chopper Show at the Sturgis Buffalo Chip. That is Saturday, August 6th at the Crossroads. Lead Sled Sportster Showdown is at Camp Zero on Tuesday, August 9th. And then I got these all out of order.
Is that Pat's younger brother? There it is.
Our good friend John O'Brien from Hardcore Cycles and the Hardcore Performance Show and Skinny Tire Bagger Build Off. That is on.
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say. I think it's on Monday, though.
Jesus, Bethany.
It's not my fault it doesn't say. Hell on Wheels Chopper Show, August 13th. Choppers Live Music, Camping, Barbecue, Vendors, Group Ride, Good Times in Franklin, Iowa. I love the flyer. Just saying.
Good times.
Good Times Motorcycle Show, August 25th and 27th. And obviously, they may or may not want you to come because they don't actually say where it is.
But, Jesus. One thing you're guaranteed to find there is dynamite.
Right? So I think, if I remember correctly, that's somewhere in Ohio. And that's all I'm going to say because I'm probably wrong. I tried. It's not my fault. And the smoke out.
Oh, yeah.
The weekend of September 8th, 9th, 10th, and we're going to kick you all out on Sunday the 11th. Go to smokeoutrally.com to get your tickets, camping passes, and all the goodness coming at you.
Oh, Janie.
Yeah. June 23rd, 26th, 2022. Thunder in the Valley in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. That's always a good time. Janie puts on a great show. And Jack Shit will be there.
Yep.
So that's all the events I have for right now. I know there's a couple more coming. I think I heard mention that we're going to be doing a bike show in Gettysburg in July.
We are. How about that? So
yeah.
Get ready for that
Pike,
information.
right?
Yeah, here's the deal. It's not going to be at the standard place because after all the years of doing it at the place we were doing it, we've
moved on.
We've moved on.
So that's going to be at the Pike. Details to follow, but stay tuned for some Cycle Source action in Gettysburg.
Here's the deal with it. It's going to be free.
I like free.
We're going to have a ton of prizes. It's
like
not going to cost you anything to be there. You don't have to pay to come into the gate. You just have to pull into the Pike and hang out with us.
Free and prizes?
Free.
I like free.
Free. So there's
don't let
that.
me do that again.
There's another thing.
I like free.
All right, man. Well, I think we've probably invaded your headspace long enough on this Sunday evening. I hope you guys all have a fantastic week. Started off with a nice motorcycle ride, even if that is to work. Don't forget, you can watch all of the episodes of Shop Talk. Now we are on episode 198, closing in on 200, but you can watch every one of those episodes on our YouTube channel. If you'd rather listen to it while you ride to work or while you're working,
You can get it on iTunes, Spotify,
all the good podcast
everywhere
providers.
You get a podcast, yeah.
So
what are we doing for episode 200?
It's a secret.
Is that because you don't know yet?
Yes. But it's going to be something special, goddammit. It's 200 episodes.
I know.
200 times we've sat down here.
That's almost as many times as you've done the magazine.
What does that run in conjunction with the magazine? What issue?
The next issue will be 292.
Wow, so we're actually going to catch up to the magazine.
Yeah, well, we do this every
another
week.
Year and a half,
so
right? Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good, man. And that's all courtesy of you guys supporting us, all of our advertisers up in the corner there, the Dennis Kirk folks who let us in the back door every week to do
They're
this
awesome.
show. And all of our supporters throughout the industry. We can't thank you guys enough for sharing your headspace with us. And that's going to do it for us this week. Until next time, when we slip in again, same chopper.
Wait a minute. Mark's got to make his appearance.
Okay. Okay, you ready to try this again?
Okay.
Okay, so until next week when we come back to you, same chopper time.
Same chopper channel.
Bye, Felicia. He's going to be so pissed.
We'd like to thank our sponsors for their continued support, and we hope you pay them a visit when you're in the market for great motorcycle parts, products, and events. S&S Cycle, Makuni American, Baco Parts, The Broken Spoke Saloon, Twisted Tea, The Iron Horse Saloon, High Seas Rally, Twisted Choppers, Twin Power, Drag Specialties, Geico, Law Tigers, Tech Cycle, Fueling Parts, Lone Star Rally, Hijinks Apparel, Progressive Insurance, Spectral Oil, No School Choppers, Motion Pro Tools.